everyone, I'm Becky.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're doing Bickering book reviews. Today we're talking about Little Do We Know by Tamara Ireland Stone. And just a quick summary. Hannah and Emery have been best friends since they were babies, but 6 months ago their friendship became fractured, and they haven't spoken since. Then one night, Hannah finds Emery's boyfriend Luke near death in front of her house. Hannah helps save Luke's life, and the three of them start a journey of questioning who they are meant to be and their faith. So, before I start, I just have to say I have been a huge fan of Tamara Ireland Stone since I read her first book, and I think it's called Time Between Us. And she wrote those awesome time travel books. I loved, what's the one we did in book discussion about OCD? Every Last Word. I loved Clicked. I met her last year at Book Expo, and she was a wonderful, nice, just very pleasant person. I did not love this book. I really liked this book. I really liked this book, but to me, it did not connect the way her other books did.
I loved this book. I thought it was beautiful. I'm like as you're reading through the summary, I'm like thinking about the fact that they know how many steps are between their houses, and I'm like, that is awesome.
I think, and the whole time I was reading this book, and I read it. It took me about 2 days to read it, and it's a long book. And 2 days, I mean, it's well written. And it did move quickly. And I think my problem is I never connected to the Hannah character or her storyline.
Really?
No.
See, I guess, and I'm not shocked that you're kind of feeling that way, but for a different reason. Because this book had both hot button issues, both for you and I, potentially. As far as you don't like the books where the girl has a romantic relationship with the friend's boyfriend.
But that didn't happen.
But it didn't happen.
It could have.
It could have. Like, the potential's there.
And I love that she didn't do that.
I know.
And that's one of the reasons
that's phenomenal.
I like her.
It, never that never happens in a teen book.
Hannah and Luke could have totally been cheating the whole time, and they didn't do that, and I was like,
the fact that it was about friends, but, like, mixed gender friends, that never happens.
Which is wonderful. Again,
it was fantastic. Yay. But then there's also the potential, and I'm not going to get too much into it, for student having a relationship with a teacher, and that's one of my hot button issues. So this really could have been gone down in flames for us, but I super enjoyed it. My only concern is I don't know who I'm going to give it to, because the very kind of Christian grandmother or families are not necessarily going to want to give this book to their children, because there are some content things going on in the book that I don't necessarily think that they would want to espouse in their children. However, I think that this is definitely something that an older teen could connect to.
There is that. I when I was reading the book, and the whole time I'm reading this book, I'm like, this is Tamara Ireland Stone. I mean, and I really did like this book, but I just didn't love it. I'm like, you love her books. You always love her books. You stood in line for 40 minutes to meet her. And I'm like, what is my problem with this book? And I think my problem is it was told between Hannah and Emery, and I think it should have been Luke's story. I think if it had been about a boy who was an athlete who almost died and then went on this journey of faith, whenever it got to Luke, I was so much more interested in his. And he's dealing with so much stuff, and I feel like it didn't get enough, that Luke needed more time on the page.
See, but I think if you did that, then you would be missing out on a whole lot of other stuff, because by doing that, you're losing kind of Hannah coming to terms with her relationship with her father.
But I feel like you could have done that. You could either, I mean, that could have been a different book, but I don't know, I just, like, to me, Luke was the most interesting part.
It would be, not that you're, like, saying it like that, like, it would have been interesting to have him, but I don't necessarily know if I'm willing to give away the relationship that I developed with Emery and Hannah for Luke.
See, and I never connected completely with Emery and Hannah, and I also wonder, I know musicals are really big right now, but will the average kid reading this book get all of the theater references and the Emery part? Because, I mean, I've seen Our Town. I know Rent. I know the music from Hamilton. So I got all that, but I don't know if the average 15, 16-year-old is going to understand the parallels between Our Town and what Emery's going through.
But is it necessary for you to appreciate the book?
I don't know, because I got it. Because there's, like, a part where they have to sing, and if they're singing a song from Rent.
Right.
But if you didn't know that, you'd be like, well, I don't, because, like, I mean, like, and where that song is in the show, it kind of fits with the book. But you kind of miss out on that if you don't know it.
So maybe this book is for that reader, though.
And there are a lot of theater kids now.
Maybe it isn't about being the book for everybody. Maybe because there really is a specific kind of reader for this book, not only as it relates to faith, but now also as it relates to theater. I mean, there's a specific reader.
And I did like she very respectfully handled the journey of faith. And I thought she handled it believably.
I can agree with that.
And I really appreciated both Luke's journey into faith and Hannah questioning her faith. I thought that was beautifully done.
I think we need to read it.
We need to read it. So our rating system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We get on to 2 unicorns. If you don't love it, it's a horse.
See, and I'm fluctuating between a 4.5 and a 4. So I'm going to go with a 4 because we don't give halves.
See, and I'm like 3.5, and like so I'm going to go with a 3, which pains me because I love her. But it's still a good book, and I think there's like lots of readers out there. I just
loved
think
the characters. I loved what happened. I loved it.
I think I'm just comparing it to her other books that I liked more. So that is where we are on, and I just lost the name of the book, sorry, Little Do We Know by Tamara Ireland Stone.
All right.
Bye.
See you around.